also gave what I felt was the most, I'd say, clear and realistic approach to what's going on with labor in this country in your conference call. You even touched the third rail. You said something that I feel as a restaurateurs, we don't have that much in way of immigration. Now, immigrants historically in this country.
Immigrants or exploitable workers? I'll come back to this point later. Also, I don't really get Jim Cramer's appeal. Maybe I'm missing something, you tell me. Anyway, my name is James Lee. Welcome to my channel 5149, where I talk business, politics, and society. And today we are going to talk about the labor shortage. Specifically, I want to take a few minutes to discuss the way executives and the corporate media have worked tirelessly to assign blame to workers, and through this discussion, hopefully provide some better clarity on how we ought to think about the issue of labor and earning a living wage. Because the solution to a, quote, labor shortage is actually quite simple and something that can be solved with basic supply and demand principles. When a company is struggling to find enough labor, it can solve the problem by offering to pay a higher price for that labor, also known as higher wages. More workers will then enter the market. Suddenly, the labor shortage will be no more. That's from the New York Times. It's just basic economics, capitalist economics, I might add. But no company, or very, very few companies, I'm going to posit, really want to do that. So they badly want to take this piece of information that's really, once again, basic economic law. They want to take that off the table if they can. So ideally, they want to find some other way to deal with this issue. Oh, I know, let's call them heroes.
To all of our Amazon retail heroes on the floor, in the air, and behind the wheel, we want to thank you.
Right, that should do it. Let's get those Amazon studio guys in here and produce this slick ad pretending that we care about them. Except we know they don't, because most companies, including Amazon, one of the largest employers in this country, did not provide proper protective equipment for their workers during the pandemic. And also, most workers did not receive additional hazard pay in return for the additional risks they took on. So in general, the empty gestures didn't do much in terms of convincing people to keep their jobs. And even now, after the federal unemployment insurance has ended, people are still quitting. Take this job and shove it. All right, so unabashed gestures did not work. Maybe we could try assigning blame.
Maybe we have a lot of jobs. We haven't gotten back those 8 million because of what we're talking. Maybe that's part of the problem. People aren't taking the jobs that are available because it's easier to stay home.
I feel like not just in the case of what we're talking about here today, labor and wages, but also in so many other instances, there is this concerted effort, coordinated effort between mainstream media and corporations to get people to turn on each other. We are short-staffed. Please be patient with the staff that did show up. No one wants to work anymore. Thank you, Dairy Queen management. They're like, don't get mad at us. We're just the people who decide the wages. Get mad at the lazy bums who don't want to come in for $7.25 an hour. A more honest sign might read, we're not particularly sorry. Management has chosen to operate this location short-staffed. Expect long waits, missing and wrong items, and poor attitudes from staff. This situation would be improved by not paying employees poverty wages. Go complain to corporate, Karen. Amen. Once again, we could go back to basic economic principles and pay people a fair wage, a living wage, or wait. What if we went no wages, but rebranded it as volunteerism?
Rather than hiring new workers to tend to their airport lounges, Delta is asking its salaried workers and members of their management staff to volunteer, essentially do extra work to help clean up their sky lounges. They're looking for people who can clean tables, restock the buffet, do these jobs on top of the jobs they already have. Will they be provided with extra pay since they're taking on extra work that doesn't fall under their job title? No, the employees won't receive any pay or compensation for helping out at the loyalty lounges.
I feel a lot better now. I didn't get paid more, but I did get to do a little bit more cleaning, wiped a few tables, restocked the buffet, gained some valuable skills. It's no wonder why workers are striking in record numbers.
We've seen a record number of worker strikes across the U.S. recently. Hundreds of thousands of workers from the assembly line to Hollywood are demanding better pay, benefits, and overall quality of life. The Department of Labor is reporting at least 12 worker strikes this year. However, Cornell University's School of Industrial Labor Relations has documented more than 175. This comes as millions of Americans are simply leaving their jobs in staggering numbers.
All right, we've played nice so far. Now they're just asking for too much. It's time to lay the hammer down. All right, maybe we can threaten to take away their health insurance. Maybe that'll teach them. I think you get my point. Companies will do literally anything but pay workers a living wage. And they'll continue to assign blame, to frame narratives, to gaslight. But at this point, I'm not really even sure there is actually any sort of significant labor shortage anymore. From a report that just came out, U.S. jobless claims have reached a pandemic-era low, pretty much nearing pre-pandemic levels, according to the U.S. Department of Labor. But wages in 2021 have grown at their fastest rate in 35 years and are predicted to keep going up. To me, the resurgence of labor is definitely something that I'm really excited about. But on the flip side, I'm sure businesses and employers aren't too happy about this development. So it kind of begs the question of whether the quote worker shortages narrative is being used as some kind of propaganda to manufacture public consent for unpopular policies such as rolling back child labor laws. Right now, Wisconsin is proposing to extend work hours for children under age 16. Under current state law, children ages 14 and 15 are prohibited from working past 9 p.m. during the summer months and 7 p.m. during the school year. This bill would allow this age group to work until 9:30 p.m. on school nights and 11 p.m. otherwise. Right? We're doing this for them, so they can build more work experience early in life, pad that resume, get a leg up on the competition. No, of course, this is really just a way for companies to pay less for the same work, or from the worker's perspective, do the same work and get paid less. The same is true with executives right now encouraging immigration for the sake of creating an additional downward pressure on wages. But the thing is, they'll always couch it in something else.
You said something that I feel as a restaurateurs, we don't have that much in way of immigration. Now, immigrants historically in this country have taken jobs at Domino's, then they've built up and run the Domino's, then they become millionaires, from driver to millionaire. But we don't have enough people at that top of the funnel anymore, do we?
Yeah, Jim, it's a challenge.
Right, you see what they're saying. You could be a millionaire. Because it is true that 90% of Domino's franchises are owned by former delivery men or entry-level workers. But what if you're not one of those millionaire franchise owners? Like, does this not sound a lot, or at least a little, like a multi-level marketing scheme? Join us. You could be rolling in the dough, but more likely you could be a part of the other 99% who are working their butts off while making below a living wage. And I think therein lies the fundamental philosophical question we have to answer. Because we know this growth and this expectation of infinite growth, while it is very alluring, is unsustainable. And we also know that this current economy is designed in a way that makes it impossible for it to work for everyone. There's definitely a baseline level of exploitation that is built in. So is this type of society healthy? Is it sustainable? Is it one that we want to glorify and perpetuate? In Wealth of Nations, the great 18th century economist Adam Smith wrote, "A man must always live by his work, and his wages must at least be sufficient to maintain him. They must even upon most occasions be somewhat more, otherwise it would be impossible for him to bring up a family, and the race of such workmen could not last beyond the first generation." So even Adam Smith, for which there is a business society named after, a society described as having been formed to achieve in business schools what the Federalist Society achieved in law schools, which is exposing students to the philosophical and moral underpinnings of capitalism. So hear that even the most hardcore capitalists saw the necessity of paying people a living wage and foresaw the things that could go wrong with unfettered capitalism. I guess my point is, and this is my opinion, of course, but the people who have run this country and the people who are running it now have all chosen, and this is a choice for sure, but they've all chosen to write laws that make it so that people are unable to earn a living wage while working a full-time job. All the while, corporations, the wealthy, the elite, the media, through all of this kind of anybody can be a millionaire narrative, and if you're not, you must be lazy or doing something wrong. They're all doing their darn best to gaslight and brainwash people into being complicit in their own exploitation. That is it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Despite everything in this video, I'm actually really encouraged by the resurgence of labor, and I hope to see more of that. Tell me what you're thinking in the comment section below. Also, a big thank you to this wonderful community that is now over 2,000 strong. If you support what I do here, please click on that like button, share this video, and also consider subscribing and clicking on that notification bell so I can keep making more videos for you. As always, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next week.